Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bourbon Obsessed Bourbon Reviews Podcast, your commercial-free and money-free bourbon podcast. I am Ed from BourbonObsessed.com, also known on Instagram as Bourbon_Obsessed. On this episode, we're taking a look at the Green River U.S. Army 250th Anniversary Bourbon. I'm again joined by my friend and bourbon aficionado, Dean Langdon. Dean, how are you doing today?
Doing great today, Ed. Thank you for asking. Looking forward to trying this 250th anniversary special bottle that Green River has put out.
Yeah, so we've talked about this on
prior podcast.
We talked about it, and then we talked about its release event where which was actually on the Army's 250th anniversary, where people jumped from a plane, trained people, and from the military and veterans, and delivered the first bottle to the ground to veterans who were in active duty, I believe,
that's right.
Who were waiting to give it a try. And so I'll just read the little summary that we have of it. So from back when we talked about it. So
just a few weeks ago.
Just to refresh everybody's memory. So Green River Distilling Company honors the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army with a commemorative bourbon release launching June 14th, 2025, which was the anniversary. Bottled at 111.1 proof as a nod to Veterans Day, November 11th, this small batch Kentucky Straight bourbon features a mash bill of 77% corn, 14% rye, and 9% malted barley. Priced at $49.99, it will be available at military bases, Green River's homeplaces, and select retailers. And I believe for the rest of the year. I think it's limited, but it's going to be sold for a little while.
Yeah.
A portion of the proceeds will benefit military families through partnerships with charitable organizations supporting soldier well-being and resilience. And part of the attachment of Green River to this is that Mark Irwin, who's the CEO of Lofted Spirits, Green River's parent company, is a retired colonel. So
great.
There's close ties to the Army there.
He has served our country in that role, so that's great. And he continues to serve with Lofted Spirits in a different way.
Yeah,
in a good way. So,
and still serving the Army and giving back.
Yeah.
So we talked about this is interesting because this is not Green River's classic bourbon mash bill. So this is 77% corn, 14% rye, and 9% malted barley. And I guess we should have Green River's standard mash bill
which
handy.
I don't have it memorized, but we know it's a little bit different. It's I want to say it's a little bit higher rye, but I could be wrong.
70-21-9.
There you go. I guessed correctly.
So that's all we can hope for.
It's always a good thing. Yeah. So
yes.
It's a little bit lower rye.
So this is higher in corn, and then the malted barley is the same. So interesting. So again, we sort of wonder, I think we talked about it at the time, what the story is behind the mash bill, because it's
why change it, right? Why not just put it out at 111.1 proof? And we don't know the answer to that, if I recall. So.
Well, and this is a blend of 4 to 7 year old barrels. So, I mean, obviously someone came up with this mash bill multiple times, and either it was for some other special purpose, or I suppose it could have been meant for somebody who contracted, distilled it, and then didn't take it or something. But either way, so it's a little bit of a different flavor profile, and it actually tastes quite a bit different.
Mm-hmm. It does. It's not the traditional Green River taste profile. I mean, it's a good profile. Don't get me wrong, but it's you can tell. If you would have asked me, is this Green River, I wouldn't automatically say, oh, yeah, clearly it is.
I don't think. Well, I think, first of all, it's extremely difficult to identify the distillery's blind.
Yes, it is.
So there's a really good chance I wouldn't have said Green River or been even remotely correct. But anyway, let's just jump right in.
Yes.
So what do you get on the nose?
I get a little bit of, I get some pear.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Look, I said pear. No, it's pretty amazing to get the same.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. I get a little bit of green apple, I feel like.
Which is sort of along the same kind of fruit.
It's similar. It's a little bit, yeah. You know, it's mostly fruits. Some vanilla, of course. Sort of at the tail end of it, I get a little bit like a faint leathery smell. And I like that, which is different from the fruity smell.
But it's a fairly sweet nose too.
Yes, it is.
And it's pretty rich. I mean, I get some brown sugar and some caramel. I mean, all contributing to the sweetness. I definitely get those pears. I get almost like a little bit of it's not like a super strong, but a little bit of that juicy fruit gum note to it.
Well, and
which is again the sweet fruits. I mean, we're on the same thing. And then
I get some cherry in here too. I don't know if you got any of that, but
I'd written down blackberry jam on my first time that I tasted it, which is sort of along that stone fruit kind of thing.
Yeah,
but I'm not getting that as much now.
Yeah, and I don't get it right now. We both know we've tasted it a couple times before today.
And it's always going to be a little different, but I think the one thing that comes through is it's got these sweeter fruit character,
without a doubt.
And then it's definitely got some rice spices too, which I think are mainly cloves. And I do say hints of dark stone fruit. It's not hard to be specific, but it's definitely got a bit of a stone fruit in there. So
there's something beyond the pear that is more, like you say, of a stone fruit.
Someday, whether it's a berry or a cherry or something along those lines. Yeah.
On one of the times, I almost got a cherry cola nose, but I'm not getting that today.
So, bottom line, it's a nice nose, fruit, sweet, some richer flavors, some classic bourbon flavors mixed in, but very pleasant. I really like the nose. All right, moving on to the taste.
I have some of that pear coming through on the taste. That followed up. There's definitely the rice spice in there. Nice.
And again, a lot of clove, I think, is the dominant of the rice spice.
Yeah.
Which is the dominant rice spice.
Right.
But and again, it's got a bit of sweetness to it.
It does. There's
sort of a
almost
simple syrup.
I was saying like a honeyed pear. You know, if you like not the kind you get out of the can with the dull syrup, but a little bit more refined than that, I guess. It's that sort of up to a couple levels, right? You know.
I like canned pears.
I like canned pears too, but
I haven't had them in a long time. But
this has, to me, it's a stronger honey taste than what I get out of the canned pears.
They remind me of the sort of the hotel fruit mix that you get on the hotel breakfast buffet. That's where you get those pears and the canned peaches.
Right.
Yeah.
How do they always peel them exactly right? I don't get that. How they always look so good, right? Mine never look that way.
Because they're pear and peach-like products. Sort of like American cheese. Cheese product. Cheese food product. Anyway, so we digress. So it's fairly sweet. We've got the honey. I get the simple syrup. I get some sweeter caramel. We definitely get those pears. I mean, again, I can imagine some other fruits in there with a little bit of that juicy fruit gum type thing and the rice spices with the cloves.
I can get a little bit of, I mean, it's almost an effervescence. I get like a cherry cola effervescence there at the end sometimes, which was really tasty.
I guess I tend to not get that note because I think I've had cherry Coke like once in my life.
I mean, I'm not a cherry, you know, the cherry is different from cherry cola. I mean, to me, I get cherry sometimes with Woodford products, but it doesn't have the same. Cola makes it a sweeter, darker cherry flavor to me. So that's
like the black cherry soda kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah.
That flavor I do get because I did used to drink black cherry soda.
Yeah. It's not like I guess there's a fountain cherry cola out there, or Coke put out a cherry Coke.
Right, there's a cherry Coke.
No, it doesn't have that same
that's what
sickening sweetness to it that stuff does.
Don't sue us, Coca-Cola company. What Dean means is it's really not to his palate.
Personal preferences. You know, we're not going to even talk about Pepsi.
But we have to say it in a nice way.
Let's be honest, folks. When people get a cola flavor in a bourbon, I've never heard anybody say it's a Pepsi flavor.
Oh.
So now we're going to see sued by Pepsi and Coca-Cola, okay?
That's Dean Langdon, Langdon, has nothing to do.
Nothing to do with Bourbon Obsessed.
His opinions are his own.
That's right.
All right, moving on. So the finish, what do you get in the finish?
Mostly I'm getting, you know, some oak, some dryness. It's a medium finish, a little bit of spice in the finish, but it's not. It doesn't carry over like a rye would, and of course it's not a rye. So that's what I got
Yeah, I get the same thing. I wrote sort of fairly dry with some dry wood, a little bit of barrel char, a little bit of white pepper spice, because I think the spice character sort of changed from that caramel. But I think some of that sweetness is still lingering well on into the finish, which is a little unusual since it's sort of turned drier.
Right.
But it's a very pleasant finish. But yeah, I mean, that sweetness sort of continues all the way on to the end.
It does. Yeah, it stays there the whole time.
So overall, impressions?
Very nice. I think it's a great product. I like the proof point is appropriate. I think that adds to...
Do you think it drinks that proof point or noses that proof point? Because I actually thought it was low. I wouldn't have guessed 111.
I don't think it knows that proof point. I do think it drinks that proof point. I can feel, in addition to some dryness at the end, there's enough, there's a little bit of heat there.
Yeah, I can buy that. But the nose, I would never have guessed it in the nose. And my notes say alcohol vapor less than expected for the proof. So,
right.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Usually I feel like nosing things is my weak point in trying to sample things, and a lot of time that's because if you don't know where to start, the ethanol just knocks you out. And it certainly didn't do that with this.
No, you could really get good flavors. Yeah. All right, well, let's wrap up. I think we've summed it up nicely. Yeah. Hopefully, in our minds.
We like it. Go buy a bottle.
No, we definitely like it. I'm probably going to wind up buying another bottle too because it's not going to be around, and it has a. It's a very good bourbon.
It's actually licensed by the U.S. Army. There's a little tag on the side there, and they paid the Army to license the Army's logo, and that money goes to support the Army and veterans. And so I think that's all. Yeah. That's a part of this. Is it's not just trying to capitalize on the Army turning 250. They're actually helping the Army out, and that's a real positive.
Yeah, that's definitely. Great. All right. So that about does it.
We're done now.
For this episode. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Bourbon Obsessed Bourbon Reviews Podcast, your commercial-free and therefore money-free bourbon podcast. Also, be sure to like and follow us at your preferred podcast providers so that you don't miss an episode. And don't forget to tell all your friends, too. You can also head over to bourbonobsessed.com to check out some of our over 300 bourbon reviews and over 50 distillery write-ups. While you are there, you can also sign up to have my newsletters delivered directly to your inbox. Finally, I can also be found on Instagram at bourbon_obsessed and on Facebook at Bourbon Obsessed. And would love for you to follow me there as well. Dean, where can they find you?
Folks, find me on Instagram at Dean of Bourbon with underlines between those words. And please take a look. If you like what you see, follow me there.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.